Good morning, everybody. You ready to get started? So thank you for coming today for our user group meeting. And I do want to remind people that we do have a webinar going on. So there are folks listening from their offices. And so we ask that if you ask a question, we'll ask the presenters to repeat the question to make sure that the people on the phone can hear the question. And let's go ahead and get started. So our agenda for today. Having a little bit of a technical problem here.
All right. Just hit the arrow key.
Okay. All right. So on this computer or this computer?
Advance the slide.
For those of you on the phone, we're having a little bit of difficulty here getting the slides to move.
Weird. Well, let's try again. One second. Does the clicker work now?
Yep.
It was locked up.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so we have a full agenda today, and the first thing we're going to have is the folks from Employment and Staffing. We have Rosanda Hall, Don Jones, and Courtney Kerr, and they're here to talk with us about some changes that we're going to be making to people admin, and also some around some of our advertising, and they'll go through all of that. Then Rajani Day and Jen Bartush are two BAs, and they're going to be here, business analysts, and they will walk us through a new look and feel to ConnectCarolina that's going to roll out this spring. And also, Corey Mims is here to talk about EHRA student auto terminations, and then I'll talk about some of the things that we're working on in the first half of 2019. So with that, I will turn that over to our employment and staffing folks. Thank you, Rosanda.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Hi, I see some folks I know in the audience. My name is Rosanda Hall, and for those who don't know me, I'm in the Office of Human Resources. I'm a lead employment consultant. And today we're going to present some of the changes that we're hoping to make in people admin that could maybe improve your hiring recruitment process using our ATS. All right? Some of the things we were thinking about, we started a committee, a hiring experience committee, to look at the recruitment process. Excuse me, we started that a while ago. And one of the subcommittees was to look at people admin. In people admin, we want to say, what are some of the things we could possibly improve that will shorten the time to fill? So we thought about, is there a way we can eliminate any of the workflow approvals? We want to see if we can make those processes for SHRA and EHRA non-faculty more similar. We want to see if we, in that process, can we eliminate or rename any of the workflow processes? And how many of you here have heard about the Carolina Excellence? Yes, and the playbook, and there's checklists in there. We want to see if we can align some of our workflows with the checklist. One of the big deals, we want to really see where we can communicate with our applicants more often and sooner in the process. We want to also reduce clarity around non-selection reason codes and streamline our hiring proposal process. All right, so let's see. The first thing we looked at was our workflow approvals. There's 3 areas that we wanted to quickly see where we can make quick improvements. One of them you may have already heard of, and it's the second bullet, which is removing the EEO approver in the applicant review workflow and in the hiring proposal workflow. We've been proposing this for quite some time, so hopefully we can get that in rather quickly. The other one is, so you know when you're creating your EHRA non-faculty position, you're working with the EHRA non-faculty office, and you're submitting your job descriptions to them. They're approving it, you're doing your EPAR. It gets approved, it goes into ConnectCarolina. That information is pulled down into People Admin. You've already worked with EHRA non-faculty. We're saying, why do we want to duplicate the review of that process with them again? So we're going to remove them from that posting workflow. They've already approved the position. The OHR Employment Office already reviews and approves via the pre-interview and the interim process your applicants. We're already taking a look at it and reviewing and saying approved, approved, approved. So when the hiring proposal comes back to us, we're thinking we can save some time and not having to review that candidate again. We've already reviewed them. So we're thinking with those 3 workflow improvements, we can shave off a couple of days in the recruitment time to fill. Sound good so far? Okay, what other improvements can we make? Now this one is going to be a little different. Stay with me here. For everybody's heard of pre-interview for SHRA, interim review for EHRA non-faculty. It's really the same applicant review. So we want to name this applicant review. Keep it simple, it's the same process. We also want to create a recruitment coordinator. So when you're under, for those of you who updates the applicants in People Admin, show of hands, who've gone through that process, and you see under review, search committee editor, under review, hiring supervisor. So all those user groups, we want to roll up into one recruitment coordinator. It's the same people that have been approved as your search committee editors and your hiring supervisors. We will not have to make you go through and get approvals to move these people into this new user group. We're going to pull them all in. All right, sound good? And we'll show you in a minute. That's going to eliminate remembering which type of workflow is this. Is it search committee editor? Am I the search committee editor? Is this the hiring supervisor? And with the recruitment coordinator, you can have more than one individual work on updating dispositions at the same time. So if somebody's out, you don't have to wait on that individual. See if your backup or whoever else has been named could get in there and finish the process while you're out of the office. That could save some time as well. We want to, and as I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure our workflows align with the new screening process, which in the playbook, I don't know how many people have had an opportunity to see the playbook, hiring playbook. Some people have, some people haven't. In the playbook, there's checklists of ways you can start the hiring process sooner. One is as soon as the posting is posted and applicants start applying, you can start reviewing applications straight away. You don't have to wait till that posting closes. So we're hoping to reduce the time to fill to 45 days from the time it's posted to offer accepted. And a great way to start that is to start screening applications sooner. So we're aligning that workflow for that work. And as we're going to show you in just a minute, we want to be able to communicate with our candidates, our applicants, much sooner in the process and more often. Okay? So applicant workflows. As I mentioned before, we had under review, search committee editor, under review, hiring supervisor. We're going to simplify it to just under review. And then, as soon as the position is posted, applicants start applying, your search committee or your hiring supervisor will be immediately able to start reviewing those applications and start having screening interviews, calling candidates up, or doing Zoom quick interviews to see if that's somebody you want to select for an on-campus interview. If it's not, you can go ahead and mark that person non-interview, not selected, and that applicant would immediately get an email. We're communicating them. We're not waiting till the posting closes. We're letting them know much sooner in the process. And they don't have to call or wonder, hey, what's my status? If you're not sure, and as we've always had, you can mark them under consideration. You can also say, this person had a screening interview. We're not going to select them to go further to an on-campus interview, and we're going to get an email at this point. We've talked to them a little bit and clarified that they don't meet the essential skills of the position. We're going to move on, but let them know. So they're going to get an email. So you're interviewing, you're doing your screening interviews, and you're not sure if this person will be moved on to an on-campus interview. You're going to mark them hold for possible interview. And then, of course, you're selecting those candidates for an on-campus interview. And this is the process that you do now, where you're selecting them and sending them over to campus HR, to OHR employment, for review and approval. And then we either approve or say that they don't meet. And after they're interviewed and they're not selected, we say they should get an email then too. So we're trying to keep them informed every step of the way. Now, for those high-level positions, positions that were maybe handled by a search firm, you can mark them interviewed, not selected, but no email to go out to them. And then, of course, all that we want, interviewed, selected, and then start the process of the hire. Now, we have some other workflows that are going to stay the same. We have some layoffs, withdrawn, canceled, declined, system determined did not meet, and hired. So those aren't changing. With those workflow updates, we're hoping to shave off 12 SHRA and 20 EHRA non-faculty workflows, thereby lessening confusion, hopefully making it easier for those who work in updating our applicants, making it a lot easier for them to move through the process. Now, as I mentioned, we want to communicate to applicants in two ways. One being an email, much sooner in the process, and the other is through the applicant portal. So of those people who apply for positions, you log into your applicant portal, you can see your status of positions you've applied to. We're recommending that we also communicate via the applicant portal the status of an application. So, for example, under consideration is the same. Under review, referred was what the status used to stay at before. Now, if somebody not interviewed, not selected, they're going to see not selected. And for somebody who's selected for interview, they're going to see interview, hired, canceled, withdrawal. So that's another way we want to be able to recommend communicating to our applicants earlier. We're also updating non-selection reasons. So when you go through your workflows and you're saying not selected and you have to select a reason, we want to do better with shortening the list and aligning the SHRA and EHRA non-faculty non-selection reason code where we can. It'll make it easier for those who have to work in updating dispositions. And we also want to eliminate non-selection codes that are not being utilized. Okay. We also took a look at our hiring proposals, particularly the EHRA non-faculty hiring proposal. We're recommending a lot of updates there. So we're eliminating, we're streamlining the title, so we're taking out the word selection and hiring proposal and just saying EHRA non-faculty or SHRA hiring proposal. We're adding fields that possibly could generate an offer letter at some point. We're getting there. Like currently, for those who work in it, we've added the offer accepted date. That is that's live in the system. That's going to help track our posting period from post to offer accepted. That's already in there. So certain dates, certain fields we want to add, like actual start date and actual salary, could possibly help us down the road with generating an offer letter. We're removing a lot of fields that we're not utilizing to make it more clear. We're updating the nepotism language to employment of related individuals. That's the name of the policy and the form. So we updated links there. We've made a couple of fields required, like the reference check field complete. It's not required, so it came over blank in some cases. By making it required, we don't have to go back and say, did you do the reference check? Maybe you did, but we just want you to say it. And again, we're updating links and adding just the calendar. It's a small thing, but adding the calendar date field so you can just select the date. So in all that work, what we're hoping and proposing will streamline our workflows in people admin. We're making the SHRA and EHRA non-faculty more similar. So when you're processing, it's a similar process. We're hoping to enhance the applicant experience by notifying them more often and sooner in different ways. We're updating forms, links, processes. We've already went live with interest card features, Careers at Carolina notification, which Don is going to speak to in just a minute. And we're hoping to add Greystone advertising, where it's very close, which Courtney is going to be speaking to as well. Any questions? Yes.
There's a question from Letitia.
Letitia?
Can the non-selection email sent option be updated for faculty also?
Well, right now our process is for SHRA and EHRA non-faculty. Hopefully we can take some of these tools and things that we're doing in updates. Maybe at some point it could be transferred over to the faculty side. Any other questions? Yes.
Have you thought about what wording you're going to use for someone who's not selected? They don't have the minimum requirements for non-faculty.
Just repeat that question.
So what would the
What's
course?
the language you're going to use in the email to let someone know they didn't meet the minimum requirements?
So the question is, what language are we going to use to send out for our emails for those who don't meet the minimum qualifications for EHRA non-faculty? We have some template letters that we're going to be looking at and developing. That one hasn't been done quite yet. Any other question? Yes.
Based on the updates, are we now permitted to conduct phone interviews without approval?
So with the Carolina Excellence and the playbook going out, yes, you can conduct screening interviews, reviewing the application. That's already started. This process is not quite in people admin yet, but that process you can move forward with. Any other questions? Yes, hand right here.
Presently, we're required to interview 3 SBA permanent applicants.
Correct.
Is that going to change with this process?
No, that will not change. Oh, so sorry. The question was, currently the process is to select 3 SHRA applicants for a recruitment, and that process has not changed. 3 or more. Yes. Hi.
Is there going to be like a guide type sheet that will be available to hiring supervisors to differentiate a screening interview from an interview?
Oh, great question. We actually have had some information Zoom meetings that have had individuals ask that very same question. And I believe in the playbook, there's definitions of screening versus interviews, if I'm not mistaken. It's already in the playbook?
It is in the playbook, and when each of you are in different cohorts that are rolling out, so you can start the screening interviews before you're supposed to be posted, and roll this out with your cohort. So right now we've rolled out cohort 1, and then cohort 2 will be rolling out in a couple of months. And a screening interview does count as an interview, and it'll be coded in the workflow. And then your in-person interviews count as interviews also. So they all need to be coded.
So the question was, is there a definition of screening interview versus a regular interview? And that information is going to be rolled out, but it's in the playbook currently, so some may have it and some may be receiving it shortly. Yes.
When will we get access to the playbook?
Just if you haven't seen it already, those are going to be rolled out with the cohorts. But I believe there's also a website that information is included, and the playbook should be already up there.
What website is that?
It's the Carolina Excellence website. I don't have the exact website, but
Carolina Excellence is one word, .unc.edu.
right. Yes.
Have a couple.
Okay.
Is this effective March 1st? And how will this affect postings already in process?
Great question. No, the process for People Admin are recommendations that we have already submitted to People Admin to input into our system. It will not be rolled out March 1st, but some of the changes we're hoping to get in, like some of the workflow changes, eliminating some of those approvals, maybe we can get that in by March, and the others will hopefully get in soon after.
Okay. And another one was, are we going to have any clarification for hiring managers that screening interviews are phone interviews, Skype, and interviews are specifically in-person interviews?
Hopefully that's clarified in the playbook, that those interviews that you're going to be bringing onto campus are those selected for interviews. Screening interviews are more quick interviews to see if they meet the requirements of the job. Those are done via phone and or Zoom, Skype.
Yes, it's actually covered in the playbook under FAQs, or frequently asked questions.
Did you have another question? No? Okay. Any other questions from the audience? All right. We'll turn that over then to hear more about our careers at Carolina.
Thank you, Rosanda. Hi, my name is Don Jones. For you who don't know me, I'm an employment consultant officer in human resources. I'm here to very briefly speak to you about the Careers at Carolina notification feature, which is currently live here at the moment. So the Careers at Carolina notification feature allows us to notify candidates when a position in a particular category is available here at university. So how this works is candidates will actually go to the applicant portal here at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and they'll subscribe to the notification feature by selecting one or more posting categories that we currently have available. And those posting categories include, but are not limited to, research and laboratory management, accounting, postdocs, and of course, faculty at the university. Once they select one or more categories, they'll hit subscribe. And then when a position of interest becomes available, an email will be sent to them overnight, which will give them information about the position that we have available here at the university. So on the screen here is an example of the screen applicants will see when they move to subscribe to the Careers at Carolina notification feature. And as you can see, we have all of our posting categories there that are available to them. And of course, they hit subscribe, and it's a very, very easy process in which many candidates have taken advantage of already. So I'm proud to become aware of that. So of course, with the Careers at Carolina notification feature, it's an excellent branding opportunity for the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Within the email that we send to our candidates, there are links to OHR's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram social media feeds, which is designed to give candidates an idea of what it's like to actually work here at the university through the experiences of our employees, which I think is an excellent branding opportunity. And of course, Carolina Blue is the color of opportunities as well. So I'm always happy to know that our candidates are interested in opportunities here at the university. So what many of you already know, or some are thinking, what does this mean for campus HR? Well, when you move to create a posting, what you'll do in the settings section is you'll actually choose one or more Careers at Carolina notification feature posting categories. So some of you may have access to that, but don't worry if you do not have access to the settings section. We in the Office of Human Resources can actually fill the information in for you. On the faculty side, if you have any issues, APO can help you out there as well. And of course, your employment consultant is available, your assigned employment consultant that is available to you anytime if you have any questions about what the most appropriate category might be for a particular position as well. All right. And at this time, are there any questions about this feature? Yes.
Saying Faculty College of Arts and Sciences is too broad. Will there be a way to break it out into division? For example, fine arts, natural sciences, social sciences.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a good question. And we actually consulted with APO with regards to the categories that we might use. And per their guidance, these are the categories that they asked us to use with this particular feature. But it is something that we can actually take into consideration, though. So thank you. Any additional questions? All right. Thank you all. Next is Courtney Kerr.
So good morning. Again, my name is Courtney Kerr. I'm an employment consultant over in OHR. And a continuing effort to improve the hiring process here at Carolina. We are pleased to give you all a heads up of a partnership we're entering into with Greystone Advertising. We did this in mind to enhance our hiring experience and also our applicant pool. Greystone Advertising, they specialize with advertising with colleges and universities. So they have a broad range of advertising resources and services that they provide, including traditional print placement, your newspapers, your magazines, even your newsletters, online posting and digital design placement, which I assume we'll be taking more advantage of. They can actually help with the design of that, making it more appealing to our job seekers. System integration, it will be integrated with people admin, which is exciting. We will be able to provide better analytics and reports as they can recap for us how much money we've been spending, where we've been placing our ads, the number of ads. And for our positions that our workforce profile may not look as we want it to, they can also help with increasing the diversity of our applicant pools. They have a relationship with over 500 academic institutions. Some of those that are more local to us include UNC Charlotte, UNC Greensboro, NC State, and also East Carolina that also have the implementation of people admin, making it easier to use. Knowledge, so they have a vast amount of resources, over 3,800 recruitment sources. 2/3 of those are digital in nature. Experience, they're going to have a dedicated full-time team that are going to be assigned to our accounts. Cost effective, which was really important to us. This is not going to cost the university or departments any additional money. So they're going to go out and do the research on the job boards for us. They're going to provide quotes and place the ads, again, at no additional cost. So that was very key. Also, ease of access, as I've mentioned, is going to be embedded within people admin, which I'm going to show you a screenshot of next, what that might look like. But also reducing our administrative burden by only sending out one invoice. So even if you post your job to 5 or 6 different job boards, you're not going to receive 5 or 6 different invoices. They're going to consolidate that into one invoice and send it out to you. So that's another way they'll be able to reduce our administrative burden. Full range of services. They have expertise in healthcare community as well as our traditional academic environment. And here's a snapshot of what that will look like in people admin. You're just gonna simply choose Greystone Advertising from the drop-down list, provide your contact information, name, email address, telephone number, and then to your notes of Greystone. If you already know who you want to advertise with, which job boards you want to advertise with, you could just list it there, whether it's Career Builder, Monster, Higher Ed, etc. You can list that there, or if you have no idea and you need their consultation, you can also note that as well. The cool thing about this is, even if you complete this form, you are under no obligation to advertise, so it's zero risk. Again, no additional costs, and allowing us to reduce our administrative burden by not having you go outside of people admin to request a quote for advertising. So it's all there in one software. Any questions about any of that?
What is the turnaround time for receiving the quote from Greystone?
If the turnaround time is within 24 hours.
With using Greystone, do we still have to create the ad, Word doc, and attach that?
No, thank you. The great question. So that's going to make that, oh, yes, thanks. The question was, are we going to, when we use Greystone, will we have to continue to use the advertising request form, which is currently a Word document? And that's the awesome thing about this, because it is embedded in People Admin. You'll be electronically requesting a quote. So that form will become obsolete. Yes. Yes.
Was it sources that require payment that we can get them to do that or no?
So the question is, for the sources that require payment, can we get Greystone to place those ads? And the answer is yes. And in fact, it's going to make it easier for you, because instead of paying 5 or 6 different job boards or 3 or 4, however many you're using for that recruitment, they'll consolidate that and send you one invoice. So so what I'm saying is they'll pay those 3 or 4 job boards and then in turn send you one invoice.
There's a couple of things.
Okay.
One was just a suggestion, and that's, can you add an example such as list advertising outlets here, or if unsure, state needs suggestions next to the notes on Greystone box. That was just a comment.
Sure.
How will we pay Greystone?
You could pay them via credit card, which that's one way you could pay them, or they can send you an invoice, either way. So, yeah.
Also,
Sure.
Oh, can they use P-card?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Greystone able to provide documentation regarding posting duration for all sources selected? For example, evidence demonstrating when the advertisement was initially posted and withdrawn, and proof the posting was visible throughout that entire period, which is required for certain immigration cases. At minimum, an affidavit stating the posting duration.
So
are they able to provide documentation regarding posting duration?
yes, that'll be in the analytics that they can provide, but also I've been told that they can go provide proof that it was posted with screenshots, or going out to verify on the website of the job board itself as well. Sure. Oh, yes.
So, Courtney, I'm wondering about the cost of the ads. So, for example, if we post an ad in Hispanics in higher ed, and I use my P card to post it, and it says it's $330. So, by going through Greystone, am I going to have to pay an additional fee on top of that $330 for using Greystone?
No. So the question was, will we have to pay any additional, and I'm summarizing, so let me know if I keep the essence of your questions, but the question was, will we have to pay any additional monies to have Greystone advertised? So her example is, if a particular job board charges $330, will we have to pay any money over that amount to have Greystone advertised for us? And the answer is no. They will not charge us any additional funds. It'll be $330 just as you're paying now. That's what's great about it. That's one of the things, yeah.
I think this is the same question, but is there extra charges if we need to make changes to ads already posted?
There will not be any extra costs. I have not worked with any job boards that charge you for that. It's more so how long you want to post a position. So if you notice in day 15 that you want to change your posting, you still have the remaining 15 days at the same cost. So it's more of a function of how much time you're posting a position. And so Greystone is not going to charge you any additional funds over what the job board charges you. I think I saw another question.
Did you say when this is done?
I did not. We're still working on some administrative tasks in the background. We also have to test in the sandbox once we get there. So it'll be a few weeks, and we will make an announcement when it will be available.
Will they still automatically post to NC Jobs, LinkedIn, and Indeed, the ones currently listed on HR's website?
Yes.
Okay. And what if the supervisor requests to post external after the position has been submitted in people admin? How do they reach out to Greystone?
So there is one way you can actually email. They have an email address, and we'll publicize that as well. That you can email them directly. Again, no additional monies will be required for that, but we'll publicize that as well when we go live. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hello. I'm Jen Bartouche.
I'm Rajni Day.
We're going to talk to you about ConnectCarolina. How many people in this room use ConnectCarolina? That was a silly question. How many people in this room want to like it even more? All day. I'm sorry, am I not talking loud? All right. So we are here to tell you and show you a little bit about a new look and feel that will be going live with ConnectCarolina. And to start off, I guess I need to move my slides. ConnectCarolina is actually a software called PeopleSoft. You may or may not know that. It may or may not matter, but what matters is that it's been around for a long time. It's been around in its current iteration for about 30 years. And it's kind of looked the same that whole entire time. So recently, they decided they were going to update the look of the system to make it more modern, to make it easier to navigate, and to make it easier to access on mobile devices, because that's pretty much how students do everything nowadays. If you can't do it on your phone, they're not going to do it. So we're implementing this across the entire ConnectCarolina world, which is HR, finance, and student. It's all going to happen at the same time. So if you are somebody who is fortunate enough to do work in all of those areas, then it's going to look the same for you. It's not going to be haphazard, so it'll be very consistent for you across the system. Why are we doing this? The main reason that we're doing this is to kind of come up to date with all of the functionality that Oracle provides. And it's going to be a totally new experience for students. Like I said, they want to use their phone for everything. But if you have ever, for any reason, tried to do anything or even look at ConnectCarolina on a phone or an iPad, it's not fun. So part of this new look is that it will be easier to navigate on a smaller screen. And regardless of the size of your screen, it will, in the student area, it will kind of form itself to the size and shape of the screen that you're looking on. So we're getting a big bang for our buck by rolling this out to students and improving their experience, and we're coming along for the ride. The experience for us will change a little bit initially, but it will also give us the opportunity to make continuous improvements to the way that we do our work and to the way that we find things. So employee self-service, everybody on campus will use self-service for things such as finding your paycheck, right? And HR users, which is all of us, we will have a new way to get to the pages that we use every day. But once we get to the page, it'll be exactly the same. So it's not going to be a huge dramatic change for you, but it will be an improvement, we think. And we hope that you find that as well. So the plan is to go live with this the weekend of May 17th through the 19th. And prior to that, you will get all kinds of information, communications, pictures. We'll take your feedback. So that's our timeline. What's going to change for us in HR is, like I said, mainly the navigation. It's going to look a little bit different, and Raj will show you some screenshots of how it will look. How many of you use favorites? All right, your favorites will still be there. They're not going away. Huge sigh of relief. So the favorites will still be there. They will be in a different place, and we will show you how to find them easily. In addition to that, which is not on the slide, but was very good news for me, is that if you have 37 favorites already set in Connect Carolina, when you come back to work on May 20th, you will have the same 37 favorites still in Connect Carolina. You will just find them a different way. So nothing's going away. The menu, yes?
What about searches?
We'll get right there. It's super exciting. Okay, so also, so the question was, what about searches? And we're gonna get to searches on the next slide. How many of you use the main menu? Do you know what the main, okay. There will still be a menu. It's not going away. It's moving from one side of the screen to the other. I think we can handle that. Well, I'll get over it, but we'll get there. The home page is gonna look new. It's gonna look modern, and we're gonna be able to customize the content on the home page to you. So currently, when you log into Connect Carolina, you might see something about ePro catalog, whatever. I don't know what ePro catalog is. Why do I have to see that every time I log in? When we log in after the change, you will see announcements that are tailored to what you care about for the job that you do, for the transactions that you take care of. And so if it's not in your wheelhouse, you don't need to worry about it. Also, we'll be able to customize our own home pages to make them just more personalized for the way that you work. Everybody works differently. And also the work list location will change by like an inch. It'll be a little bit different. But to move on to the search. So sometimes I log in to Connect Carolina, and I know that there's a page in there that does this thing that I want to do. But for the life of me, I cannot remember how to get there or where it is. So in this new look, there will be a new search feature called Elasticsearch, and it will allow you to put in a word like position. And if you search on position, it will bring up pages that you have access to that are related to position. So when you asked about search, what exactly were you thinking about?
A lot in with e-bars primarily because of the volume of approval.
Right.
And so I have them set up under different categories. And
oh, your saved searches.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Okay, so when she asked about searches earlier, it was about the saved searches on when you go to your page. Like for an ePAR, you can search for different criteria and you can save that criteria so that you can use it over and over again. As far as an employee, you click this button. That's going to be replaced with one consistent login page for everybody because you don't need to tell the system who you are anymore. The system knows who you are and it will show you the things that are appropriate for you when you log in. So we'll have one page where everybody goes, you log in. If you work in finance and HR, which I know a lot of people do, you will see your finance functionality and your HR functionality. And if you work with students, you'll see that also. So it will know who you are. It will provide the appropriate content to you based on who you are and what your role is for work. The other thing that I really like, and this goes back to the ePro catalog, is that there will also be an announcements box that has some scrolling messages in it, and those will be tailored to you as well. So it will be information that is relevant to you, and you won't have to wait for things to scroll by that you don't care about to see the content that you really need to see. So Raj is going to take you through some screenshots, and just our disclaimer is that these are draft screenshots. So they're kind of cobbled together.
Fancy paint mock-up, basically.
Fancy paint mock-up of our vision. So what you see here will be 1,000 times better when in May when you see it for real.
Yes, disclaimer, all mock-ups, still working on colors and even titles and different things like that. So just know that
going in here. So excited to see the new look and feel, or the new look. I just wanted to go through a couple terms before I show you some scenarios. I have 2 scenarios where, how am I going to get to paycheck in the new world? How am I going to get to the HR Work Center in the new world? So before we get into that, as soon as you log in, the first thing you're going to see is a home page. And so somebody with employee self-service only, say they are not an HR administrator or finance administrator, they would only have this home page. And for someone like, for all of us, we would have access to other home pages, such as the Work Center homepage, student homepage, or faculty homepage for different folks. So you can use the little toggle at the top to switch between, okay, I'm moving from self-service over to do some of my HR work. And you can see kind of a mock-up of what the announcements down on the bottom right will look like. So they'll sort of just be a short line, and then if there's more to see, click Learn More, get to see more. In the new look, all the home pages will have tiles on them. So behind the tile, when you click on it, it could be opening up a website, such as Tim. So if Tim is a tile, maybe that just opens up one website, or a collection of pages. So for example, for payroll, you might have, we are planning on having like view paycheck, the W-2 form, W-4 form, all of that sort of categorized under pay, and they will all be there under that tile. And then for someone like you all, for the HR Work Center, there could be a tile, and that's going to take you right to the HR Work Center. So, and some other cool stuff is eventually we could have more informational things on each tile. So for example, the payroll one could have your last pay date on there. So over time, I think we'll have more information right on the top of your screen. And then Jen mentioned the new way to get to the main menu. We're still looking at if the menu you see today will be available. If it's not, there will definitely be a way to get to all the pages under main menu. And we're all wondering this too, why it's on the right side of the screen. So that comes up in a lot of feedback sessions. But if you click the little navigator icon, it'll open up. You can use the main menu the same way. And then that's also where you'll see recent places and my favorites.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Sure.
For just a second. I'm sorry. So one of the things that I really like about having the navigator on the right is if you do use the main menu and you're drilling down to a page, it opens up a level, and then it opens up a level next to it, and it opens up another level next to it. And by the time you get to the page that you're looking for, your screen is kind of covered with this menu. But if you're using this navigator menu on the right, it stays static on the right. It doesn't cover up what's already there. So you can still see the information that you have on your page. So it's kind of nice just to, it cleans up the screen a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought I'd walk you through kind of 2 different scenarios. Employee, I just want to get to my paycheck. How do I get to it? So right now, the employee clicks on self-service, clicks on view paycheck, and then can see their data there. In the new world, basically all those self-service links that we have on our portal now, they will be somewhere on that, under some of those tiles. So in the new world, they'll click payroll, and they might have more pages, but the top one will absolutely be to view your paycheck. So the pages all look the same when you get there. It's again just about the navigation, not just. It is a big change, but you will keep hearing more about this. And then for you all to get to the HR Work Center, right now it's under the HR payroll area, and you click HR Work Center, and that opens up. So you can see here kind of a mock-up of what the administrator homepage or the Work Center homepage is going to look like. So you'll potentially have to toggle over to the Work Center homepage. And one thing that we're looking at too for the personalization you can do is say, every time you log in, you don't want to see self-service first. You have access to these other home pages. You could switch your default so that every time you log in, you're going straight here instead of having to flip. And you can also see here some of the consistency that we're working on throughout the pillars. Right now, HR and finance heavily use the Work Center. Student wasn't using the Work Center as much, but they kind of got the feedback about how helpful that was to have all the links in the same place. So they're looking at building a student Work Center too. And this is really, if you had access to all pillar work centers. If you don't, the tile will just hide. And then you click on that, and again, the page looks the same once you get there. So what happens now? So ITS change management is going to continue, and we are going to start getting the word out with sessions like this, different little short videos, newsletters. This is not the first time you're going to be hearing about this. This is a change that impacts every single person who uses Connect Carolina, so it's a big deal. And then over at Manning, ITS and all the pillars are starting work on actually building the new interfaces, so you can see things that aren't just paint, but actually kind of test environments. Feedback along the way, we're looking at possibly doing a survey, so look out for that. And then mid-May is when the tentative go live is. And we are always here for any questions or feedback. So any questions that you have so far? Excuse me.
What do you think about, I mean, does it strike you as very different, not very different? Do you like it? Are you not sure yet? First impressions?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, let's do thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs middle.
Well, we're glad to hear that.
I see that thumbs middle. It's all good. And you know what? It's hard to see it on a screen when it's just kind of screenshots. But once you get in there and get to play with it, your thumb is either going to go up or down. We'll check back with you. Corey.
Thank you. You're welcome. Hi, good morning, everyone. On February 1st, we changed the EHRA auto term process to make it more consistent with the SHRA process, to hopefully avoid people inadvertently being out of compliance with I-9, because when we were terminating people on the 15th back to the 1st, and then another department had hired them on the 8th, we may have caused that gap. And also to avoid overpayments, because if we run the EHRA auto term process more frequently, then hopefully we'll catch anyone before we go into payroll lockout. So the EHRA auto term process will run daily, the 1st through the 14th of the month. It's going to terminate anyone with an expected end date of that day or before. Then on the 15th, it's going to run like it has been and do a catch-all for the full month. So terminate anybody with an effective date, for example, in February, with an expected end date in that month. That's in preparation for us to go into lockout and make sure we don't accidentally overpay anybody. Then from there, we'll continue to auto term individuals for the whole month throughout the rest of the month. So yes, that process will, starting the 15th, will just continue. The process will not terminate your EHRA students during an EHRA payroll lockout. So during that time frame, the process will still be running, but because we're in lockout, it can't auto term anyone. So if you find someone has not been terminated and will be overpaid, please submit a remedy ticket. If you find that we have auto termed somebody that should have been extended, please submit a remedy ticket so we can back out that auto term. Please don't rehire them effective the date that they were terminated. So some important reminders: students with active SHRA and EHRA jobs will not get terminated during an SHRA lockout. Same with people with SHRA and EHRA. Those SHRA and those SHRA jobs won't get terminated during an EHRA lockout. If the student's EMPL record has an active EPAR, then that EMPL record won't be terminated when this process runs. If they have multiple records And Impl Record 0 has an expected end date of March 1. Impl Record 1 has an expected end date of March 1, but Impl Record 1 has the EPAR in progress, then only 0 will get termed. It runs at 1 a.m. on the day. So if you have somebody with an expected end date of March 1st, please start the reappointment process before March 1st, because if you come in on March 1st, the person's going to be termed already. So just to reiterate that, so it must be started prior to the expected job end date or the 15th of the month, whichever's earlier, because remember on the 15th, we start to get everybody within that month. Are there any questions? Okay, Vicki.
All right, lots of stuff going on. So it is 12 o'clock, and what I was going to do was just cover the projects that we're doing for this year. And just so you realize what we do is we have programs of work that we do for every half of the year. And so we start, right now we're working in the January through June program of work, and these are all the different things that we're working on. These are the big things. There's lots of other little things that we're doing, but these are kind of the bigger things. We figure out our priorities based on, we look at remedy tickets, we talk with the BAs about where people are having issues, we have a business process subcommittee of all HR officers, we review our thoughts and give information to the HR officers about what we're planning on doing. We look for any feedback here. If anyone has ideas or things, feel free to let us know. We do most lunches every once in a while, which is where we talk with the people who do the most actions of any kind, people who do the most hires or the most salary increases. We also have a liaison group, which are not HR officers, but some HR reps who do a lot of actions in the system, and we meet with them every other month and we get ideas from them as well. So we gather ideas from lots of sources and then try to figure out what it is that we want to work on for the year. So these are the projects for the year. We don't have time to go through them really, but they are out there. You notice a lot of the work that the employment and staffing folks talked about will be is work that we're working on, the fluid rollout work that we're working on, and there's a bunch of other projects there that you can read as well. So since it is 12 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. If anyone here in the room has any questions, we can stay and continue to take some questions. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. You guys earned your money today.